Many veterans of the Iraq War think of themselves as the real 1% in this country, those who did serve, and they say they feel disconnected from many Americans. We sat down at a Veterans of Foreign Wars Lodge with 5 Iraq combat veterans to talk about how they feel. You will hear some brutal honesty.
You're either the highly successful, nothing shakes you, nothing shatters you, you're the best go-getter type worker there is, or you're the broken down veteran that's a day away from suicide with PTSD and all kinds of problems. And it just seems like you come back and you're supposed to fit into one of these two extremes. It's like Absolutely. It's like a caricature. Like you must fit one of these or the other. Which one are you? Which one are we all? For myself, I feel like I'm lost in that. I'm lost in the gray that's between those two. Very anonymous in that sense. So it leaves you feeling, for me anyway, it leaves me feeling very isolated, very separated from society, but also within our own group. If you can't, when you come home, really identify who you are.
Do you feel the same way, Kayla?
I think that sense of isolation can be enhanced for female veterans because we are even more invisible. People think that vets look a certain way, like this, really. And because female veterans don't fit that stereotype of what a veteran looks like, who a veteran is, we can blend into the background even more.
Do you, John, feel separate from the rest of America because you served in Iraq?
Well, I think when it comes down to reintegrating into civilian life, the process is never going to be complete for us. And I think that Vietnam veterans are maybe good people to talk to, and other veterans from past wars to see what is in store for us.
I think the attention span of the American public is not broad enough to survive a withdrawal of troops. I think it's going to shift, and I think the attention span is going to be focused on the current problems, the current crises, and not mopping up the mess of 2 wars that have gone on for a decade.
They can read the numbers, they can scroll across the bottom of the screen Absolutely. On the ticker about this many died today, these many Iraqis were killed, these many soldiers, and go about their day. It's not penetrating their lives, their daily lives, most American public, and they can go to airports and clap for veterans or soldiers when they walk by, but there's not much more to that. And I think
they don't even put stickers on their car. It's magnets, so they can pull them right off without even damaging the paint on their cars.
What I think the American public struggles to deal with, and it often is, and I think it's also part of the disconnect between the service members, veterans, and society, is that there's been no accountability. I didn't have a problem with going to Iraq. That may be hard to swallow, but at the time I didn't know what we knew now. I was a dutiful soldier.
Right.
But as things reveal themselves, as evidence comes forward, then one has a moral compass. This country has a case of post-traumatic stress disorder, in my opinion. The entire country does.
People ask me why did I join the military out of college, and honestly, I don't remember. Whatever young idealistic
You hate that question?
Yeah, well, whatever young idealistic reason I had for joining is dead, if I ever had one. But what I was able to learn from my service and the experience I had with my brothers in arms is something far greater than anything I could have ever imagined.
Yeah. It's just a slight difference in speed, but when you hear the question, why would you do that? Mm-hmm. Where there's a lot more implication that, like you really support those wars, like how can you do that? Like what's wrong with you?
That phrase, I support the troops, but I'm against these wars. I mean, to me, that's damning. It's hurtful because this is what I did, and to hear that while you're going through it, while you're enduring it, is really difficult.
I do think that there is an issue with what support means. I've spoken to people across the country, and a number of people have said, "What can I do?" They want to contribute, they want to make a difference, but they don't know how. That's where I think we can have this disconnect. We understand that there is a degree of support in a mental or emotional way, but people don't know how to translate that into actions that provide support.
I think most Americans want to do something, and that they do care. But the common statement that I get is that they don't know what to do. They don't know who to give their money to, They don't know what to do. And there's so much that can be done.